Avery, whose show is this? And we're live. Welcome, everybody, here to the Lakers Lounge Podcast. I'm Anthony Irwin, Senior Lakers Insider and lead Lakers content creator for Offside, joined on this fine Thursday. It's Thursday, right, Harrison?
Today's Thursday.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
Do you always have? Because I feel like the last couple times I've come on, you've needed me to confirm the day. Like, do you always have the guests do that?
Yeah.
You're just like test it. Like, do you test if Raj knows what day of the week it is?
Yeah. Well, I think it's more. It gets worse on days that I'm like solo for a lot of the week on. You know, because then you record the same show basically 4 times, and
Solid plug.
it's just all. Yeah, it just all kind of like mixes together. So, yeah, like I do find myself, yeah, like it's either like
I assume
really
Raj just answers it's game day.
Yeah, right. It's either game day or not game day.
Yeah.
But like it's basically like I've cut way down on the number of guests that I have on the show. Right? Like I basically like the circle of guests is basically like you, Raj, and Pete for the most part. And so like if I'm not talking to you guys for like a few days in a row, then like it just feels like I've recorded the same episode however many days in a row that is. And it just leads to a monotony that makes me forget what day of the week it is. Also, I'm getting old. And
That'll do it.
Yeah, and then we're also in like deadline week, so it's just a whole bunch of everything.
Yeah, you're having to call around on Dalton Connect, just see like, are there any interested teams? Does anyone want him?
It's been a lot of. I've also spent a lot of time blocking people on Twitter. Like that's.
I just feel like I don't understand why the Lakers wouldn't be able to find a market for a shooter that can't shoot, or remember plays, or play defense. So that just seems like the type of NBA player every team would want.
Yeah, and
and also he's making almost lottery pick salary.
Yeah. Other than that,
Yeah.
But hey, according to aggregators, he demanded a trade. He busted Rob Pelinka's door open and said, "If you don't trade me, we're fighting." That's essentially what I reported the other day.
Rob's like, "We already did. It didn't go through."
All right. So today on the show, we're going to be talking about Austin's impending return. Heard today from some people that I trust that it's looking pretty good for tomorrow. Wouldn't go so far as to say that he is definitely playing, but it's definitely a lot of optimism there. Then we will talk about what that means and all that good stuff, what we're looking for from him specifically, and him and Luka and LeBron. We got to talk about and got to try to figure out who's going to start next to him, LeBron, Luka, and Ayton. Conversations that date back to before the season even started. And then we will talk about a guy whose name has come up so often, whether it's in other people's content, other people's podcasts, other conversations that I've been having. It feels like DeAndre Hunter is the name to kind of write in I would say like confident pencil right now. You know how like sometimes you could jot down something with a pencil that is like so like when you write it, you can't really fully erase it,
Yeah, like the eraser's worn down. So you're like, I'm not going to be able to fully erase this, but
right. Yeah. So I would say that's how I would write DeAndre Hunter's name on like the list of likely Lakers after this deadline. And so we'll kind of discuss why and what the package might look like and all of that good stuff. And then over the course of the show, I'm sure you guys are going to have. Oh no! Also, there's been now multiple reports that DeAndre Ayton isn't the center of the future. So I want to talk to the resident DeAndre Ayton stan in this here part's
Hold on.
you.
Hold on.
I was hoping because you were drinking. I was hoping that you were going to spit out your water. Like that's the move I look for.
I steel myself
Like,
now. Whenever I take a drink, I'm like, okay, Anthony is going to try and make you do a spit take. You don't need to do that to your work laptop.
But yeah, we'll talk about DeAndre Ayton and the Lakers and all of that good stuff. And yeah, like over the course of the show, if you guys have any questions, then we can figure that out. Also, there was this tidbit from Brian Windhorst about LeBron, and his pay amount potentially next year that if we have time, we might get to as well. So there's a loaded episode is what I'm saying. So buckle in. Today, as always, I'm reminding you guys, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that like button, please hit that share button. And then if you guys are listening to the show in the morning in its podcast form, please hit subscribe wherever it is that you get your podcast, preferably on Odyssey, but I do not care where. And honestly, listen to it on multiple platforms. Come back and tell me if Spotify sounds better than Apple, or if Odyssey has better jump ahead features than Spotify.
Yeah, you need to go investigate this for us. Anthony's not going to. So no. It's up to you. Like if we're sounding tinny on one of the platforms, you got to let us know because Anthony doesn't check.
You know what I've always wondered, and I never asked anybody like in our industry this. Do you think people listen to their own shows?
When I was podcasting regularly, I did.
Well, I know you're neurotic, so like
yeah.
you
but know. It was to take notes to improve.
I wonder.
Didn't work.
Yeah, I remember once upon a time I would listen every so often, and Jen would be in the car, and she's like, "Why are you making me do this?"
Well,
There's
that's
enough
psychotic.
of you in my life.
You can't make
already.
somebody else listen to you, and you're just like sitting there with them, watching them consume your podcast. That's different.
Well, but like, there's
I never
nobody...
did that. I would like listen to it again. I was in college at the time, so I had classes to walk to, stuff like that. So I would usually listen to my own Locked On Lakers while walking over to class.
Well, my thinking at the time was, and I was a lot more vain back then. I wouldn't do that to Jen now, specifically because she said if I do it ever again, she would divorce me. But like I back then, my thinking was, you are the most honest person with me in my life, so your feedback here really matters. And she would legit say, like, you say too often, and you say like too often. Get rid of the fillers. It's really annoying. Also, who is this Harrison guy? And why does he sound so much like Darius? And that was the typical feedback. And anyway. So today, let's start with the Austin update here. Again, kind of there was that random Shams tweet from the other day that he is going to be returning against the Cavs. Austin would be returning against the Cavs. He quickly deleted that, and everybody kind of moved on. The Lakers shortly thereafter released their injury report, and Austin was listed as out for that game. That obviously led me to asking around, hey, what happened there? Like, it's really rare, right, that Shams just gets something flat out wrong like that. And so I was like, I wonder what's happening there.
Not as rare as it was with Woj, though. Just saying.
What's that?
Not as rare as it was with Woj, though. Just saying.
Do you still follow Woj?
Yeah.
I couldn't unfollow him.
Yeah, it feels wrong.
Yeah, I turned off notifications, but like,
I turned off notifications. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I don't care that much about Bonnie's men's basketball, but I'll check out what he has to say every so often.
Yeah, he had Will Hardy on his podcast the other day, which I think
it's funny to watch him just like reveal who his sources were, over the course of his new podcast.
It's weird. Danny Ainge has been on like every other week.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I asked around about it, and the thinking was that if it was a playoff game, Austin would have played on Wednesday. But they wanted to give this an extra few days. Wednesday would have marked almost exactly almost exactly the 4-week period that the Lakers were going to reevaluate him afterward. And they reevaluated him and said, yeah, you've made progress, but let's take another extra few days. And now that gets us to Friday, which I believe is the likely day that he makes his return. And is there, like, before we get into like who should start and all of that stuff, is there anything specific that you're looking for from him, LeBron, and Luka? Because it was, I guess, for lack of a better term, underwhelming last time we saw the three of them.
Yeah, I mean, you want to see those three fit together, obviously, as your best three players. I think specifically as far as Austin goes, like I mean, maybe not right away because he's gonna have to get his legs back under him. As we always see with these guys that have these long layoffs. But I think the biggest thing is not being overly deferential, just because the other guys on the roster are, your multi-time all-star MVP candidates, MVP winners in LeBron's case. Don't be overly deferential to those guys because, what you and Luka had at the beginning of the season was working. You handling the ball is better for LeBron too, because it keeps him a little fresher, as the Lakers try to get through the rest of the season and get him to the playoffs healthy. So, I just want to see him not deferring. Like you were rolling, like try and pick that back up again.
Yeah, I my thing is, and I know I sound like a broken record on this thing, but something with the three of you, right? Like, we heard before the season how JJ went and spent time with Sean McVay, and they walked, and his takeaway from that was like these utility plays for the Rams that would feature Matt Stafford, Puka, and Kyron Williams, or some combination thereof. And
Could
we've
JJ
yet
not
to
watch basketball and figure out that involving your best three players, like he had to go to the Rams for that?
Well, Chat GPT is a little bit more egalitarian.
Yeah.
He wants to space
You're absolutely right, JJ. Rui should get as many shots as Austin in the starting lineup.
But so, like, we've still yet to see said utility plays. Like, we'll see
In
it
fairness,
every.
those guys played what, like 2 games together before
I think the total is like 13. Like,
okay, that's more than I remembered, but
yeah, but it's still, I mean, considering
Yeah.
they've played almost 50,
that's why I felt
still,
like 2.
It feels like they've played 85.
Yeah.
But yeah, they I don't know. We've seen some mixing in of well, we always get the LeBron and Austin plays run. Like, that's something that those two guys are very comfortable with. But we and oftentimes, like, those two guys will run something on the strong side, and then Luka is kind of the natural safety valve on the weak side. And that is technically utilizing all three of them, because you're hoping that Luka, being on the weak side, provides some extra spacing, and Luka is therefore impacting the play that way.
Well, and the other benefit is it does give Luka more time to yell at the refs. Like, if LeBron and Austin are like taking that up, like Luka can yell at the refs, and like you don't even have to worry about it. Like the ball handling's handled.
Austin hasn't even shot yet, and he's like, and one,
Yeah.
like from the weak side. Yeah.
No, Luka's yelling at them about 2 plays back. He just wants to continue to prosecute his case.
Did you see the play last night where he got stripped, turned around, and yelled while the Cavs were scoring?
No, because in full honesty, I did not watch last night's game, but I have seen him do that before. And so that is saying something.
Yeah, I forget who stripped the ball from him.
It's like, it's funny the things that you realize once a guy's on your team, because it's like, I knew he yelled at the refs, but like all stars yell at the refs, LeBron yells at the refs sometimes, like Jokic yells at the refs, like all stars yell at the refs. AD would yell at the refs. No one yells at the refs as much as Luka. Yeah. Like, you can see why he has the rep that he has.
Yeah,
and at some point you think he'd realize, like, you're not doing yourself a favor. Like, these guys are not going to give you the 50-50 call if you're like, that's not how it should be, but that's how it is,
Yeah, I mean, it's I would even go so far as to say, like, not only does he not get the 50-50 call, but he also, like, we've joked about this before, but he'll also get the
Yeah, he
foul that is
loses.
clearly a shot, and they'll be
Yeah, he
like, "That's on the
loses the
ground."
85-15 call too.
Right. And the referee's like, "I dare you. Say what you
Yeah.
wanna say," you know? But anyway, so yeah, like, that's kind of what I'm looking for between those 3 guys, and then I also kinda wanna see because, like, I think Jake LaRavia obviously has a larger role, in this rotation than when Austin went out, and I kinda wanna see what that group looks like with Jake out there. I wanna see more of what it looks like with Marcus out there, because one stat that Raj pointed out to me a little while back, and it obviously hasn't changed because Austin hasn't played, but like 85% of the minutes that Luka, Austin, and LeBron have played together have also featured Rui. And I just, I want to see a different
Yeah.
fourth guy there, you know?
Yeah.
So like that's something that I'm really kind of looking forward to, which I
It's just
guess
not the best usage of Rui.
no,
Yeah.
no, not at all. And I guess that's a perfect kind of segue because Rui is now out of the starting lineup. He's not, he even did the smart PR thing of talking to Dan Wiki of the Athletic to say like I'm open to a bench
Hey,
lineup. It's
whether
like
whether he believes it or not, whether he's being honest or not, the right thing to say. And like I'd rather have him
absolutely.
say it than not say it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Totally fair. It kind of reminded me though of like remember right before Trey Young was traded, Sean's was like, the team Trey Young's group really wants to
They have for the first time ever, a star has zeroed in on the Washington Wizards.
right. It's like okay.
Trey
Totally.
just really likes the culture they're building there.
But so and look, for 4 of the 5 games or so, Rui has, I think, looked a lot better in that.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like we should scrap yesterday's game because nobody looked good
I
outside
was
of
gonna say I
Gabe,
looked at the
which is
I checked the
hilarious.
score update and I was like, yeah, I'm not mad I skipped this one.
Well, they were up by 10 and then immediately were outscored like by 34 points or something ridiculous. It was just an
I'm
immediate
telling you,
swing.
like when you have a star player, and there's like ongoing tensions with the team. Like we all saw the reporting yesterday,
Yeah.
yesterday morning about like sort of like some of the stuff that might be happening this summer, or like transactional moves that might be happening. And like I think that when you go, on the road and you're dealing with a player like Dalton Connect, uncertain of his future with the Lakers, like that can mess the locker room up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was the concern. That was the Could I thought about making the joke yesterday, Harrison, that like the reason that the Lakers look so down in the dumps was because they found out Dalton asked out.
I made that joke. I did not hold back.
Well, I appreciate that you did.
Yeah. It's like,
So
well, I mean, I was joking about the LeBron thing yesterday
yeah,
because there was
yeah.
the like, oh, he's open to returning to Cleveland.
And then he
No
cried.
word on what he thinks of the Wizards culture and whether or not he's zeroed in on them.
um,
He's decided he wants to be a better wizard than MJ. That's how he wants his final chapter to play out.
he's gonna buy part of the Wizards too, just like to make it
He's like, I'm going to do something MJ never could. Bring the Wizards to the playoffs.
But what did you make of yesterday? The whole like him getting emotional on the sideline, the video, playing like
Yeah,
shit.
I saw somebody in the comments, and I'm sorry I'm not going to credit you, but make like an interesting point that like their read on it was wondering, yeah, it was RoboCop, my guy. He was wondering if LeBron is feeling the pressure of being unwanted by the Lakers, and like the video made him feel appreciated. And it's like I hadn't even considered it from that angle, but it is sort of fascinating to like think about, this is someone who's never been told no in his entire life, or like I don't want you in his entire life, basically, or at least like
Yeah.
over the last like probably 30 years, no
Or
one has
no,
ever
I
said,
would
LeBron, I
take
don't
it a
want you
step
around.
further. No, it's not just that I don't want you. he's never had a moment in his life go by where everybody isn't falling over themselves to employ him. Like, not just
Yeah.
the current employer, because as it stands right now, there's that weird sentiment between LeBron and the Lakers that it's like, yeah, we do, but there was never. Not only is there a but that exists with his current employer, but it over the vast majority of his life, it's like, had he made the decision to go to college, every single college in the country would have been falling over themselves to get him.
Yeah.
If he was ever a free, or when he was going to be a free agent and all that stuff in the NBA, every single team was falling over themselves to position themselves to give themselves an opportunity to get him. Now it's like, yeah, remember the back when some of the trade stuff was going around, yeah, the Mavs are interested, but only as a buyout. Yeah, the Lakers are interested, but like Windhorst said, on that show today, it's probably going to be at a pay cut. Yeah, the Cavs are interested, but there's a but now, and there's never been a but.
Yeah, and like, so for him, probably with like some of the it's not like Lakers fans have exactly been showering him with love this season either. Like, obviously they're not booing him or anything, but like there hasn't been like some big moment with the crowd like we've had like a couple times in past years where like he could really like just feel that love just for him, and like that hasn't really been a thing. And he, I think feeling that like, almost embracing of being home, like that his entire hometown bracing and praising him and remembering his contributions to them from 10 years ago, like while he's in the midst of this like weird season where he's feeling sort of unwanted. Like, I do think that probably hit him a certain way. I think that's like that's an interesting read, and that's probably part of it.
Yeah, I that's where I agree with that specific sentence.
I did love.
I think it was a lot
I
of
did
things.
love that his excuse for it was like, I just never paid attention before, which is very funny to think about. It's like somebody put in all this, that people put in all these effort to these tribute videos, and LeBron's like, yeah, I didn't really watch it.
Yeah, I mean, like, you think about it, because a lot of these happen like in the middle of the game. Like
It's
after a
usually
few
in the
possessions.
first quarter, though. It's like not.
Yeah.
It's not like, come on, like you're not locked in on all the timeouts like in the first quarter. Like, it's like the first quarter, the coach is like, yeah, you got to play hard. That's the timeout. Guys, the game started.
It's even funnier to think of this, given that like every former player gets a tribute video, right? Like, how many former players get tribute videos? So like
LeBron deserves a tribute video every single time he steps foot in the Cavs arena. Like, he brought them a title, like he went home. He deserves the yearly tribute video. It's like, if the Lakers give Dorian Finney-Smith a tribute video, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, we got to start over. I don't think they did that.
Did AD get one from the Pelicans?
No. But to be fair,
really?
like that also is like sort of the like teams like, catering to a guy, because it's like they didn't probably want the visual of like AD getting booed during a tribute video for other players. Obviously, they didn't care about AD coming back at any point and being mad at them. Like, they just probably didn't want to make it worse.
Well, because I think like AD never thanked the city. Like, he never thanked.
No, Pelicans fans still have a running joke. Like, because he gave some comment. He's like, like, we'll do like a newspaper statement, thank you, like Instagram or whatever. And like, he's like, that's coming. And then it just never happened.
The people who like, laid out his clothes for that Saul Folks t-shirt, like, they are also in charge of those things, and they just forgot.
Next time you have Pete on, you got to ask him about his theory on the "That's All Folks" thing, and like what was really going on.
Is it a good one?
It's good. Yeah, it's good.
Okay,
I'm not going to steal it, but it's good.
All right, but yeah, the LeBron pay cut conversation is interesting, because there's nowhere that LeBron would want to go that can pay him max money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, the Lakers,
like, he could, who has max cap space this summer? The Nets. You know where LeBron probably doesn't want to go finish up his career? The Nets.
Right. Yeah, like the Kings, I'm sure, would be able to figure something out, or I guess Chicago would be funny. But like there's just like, there aren't any situations.
He says, I'll do it, but you have to let me wear number 23.
So I wonder what work will be done, basically. Like, isn't look, I don't want to apply pressure to LeBron to take a pay cut. Like I always feel iffy about telling somebody what to do with their money. Okay. So that's the starting point here. But isn't that the surest way to end on good terms with the Lakers fan base? Is just to be like, you know what? I'll take half of what I made last year, you know? And um and just like, what maybe it opens up the Lakers because I know like the Lakers really like Peyton Watson, and that's a guy
Yeah,
that like they, that's reported out there, it was funny. I was literally before Jake even
clutch
threw
guy
that
too.
out there, huh?
Clutch guy too. So like
Yeah,
theoretically, there's like some incentive there for LeBron to like want to accommodate him.
yeah, and so I was like, I had joked with Adam. I was like, what if the Lakers just like try to get ahead of this and offer Denver anything for Peyton Watson, seeing as you might lose him for nothing. And he was like, they would never do that, like not
Yeah.
with the Lakers.
No.
But like I was just kind of like, joking and poking around there. And yeah, like if you're LeBron and you know that the Lakers need every ounce of help that they can get, and you aren't going to see max money from any of the other situations that you would want to go to, then your choices then become retirement without a farewell tour, just kind of walking off into the sunset, or playing at an amount of money then is that is below what you're used to making to play
Yeah.
basketball. And it's not, again, I'm not applying pressure, I'm not telling him what to do here, but if he wants to keep playing, I just don't see any other choices there, you know? I,
Yeah, no,
I
I think that's what hit me the most about like people were aggregating Windy this morning on Get Up saying like, that he would expect the Lakers to ask LeBron for a pay cut. And people were like aggregating this as this, and I get it, it's trade deadline week, whatever. We're all
yeah.
on like high alert and like aggregating it as if it was news. First of all,
No,
like Brian,
Harrison, everybody's taking every single story with just complete nuance and with the smoothness of silk.
yeah. So, they had like that story's out there and people are like, like report Lakers are going to ask and it's like Wendy didn't report that, but it's also like that logic follows. Like I could tell
Yeah.
you I think the Lakers are probably going to ask LeBron for a pay cut. Like I'm not as informed as Wendy, but like it's for all the reasons that you just laid out, it's, like it seems like a likelihood that he's going to have to take a pay cut wherever he goes. And again, like I don't want to pocket watch LeBron and be like, "Oh yeah, save Mark Walter some money." Like I don't care.
No.
It's up to him what he wants to do. But it at this point in his career, like if winning is the only thing that matters, and maybe it's not, like I know that money always matters too, and I understand it's like,
And pride.
on one
Like it's
hand,
fine to be it's fine to be proud and be like, I look, man, I worked really fucking hard to be
and
this good
also
at
be a good union
basketball
member
this
and
late
say
into my
like
life.
I'm not going to set the precedent that I'm going to
Yeah.
just take the minimum and way outproduce that. Like that's
Yeah.
not good for my fellow like aging stars. And
Right.
think about it from that perspective. But the thing is that it's like you said, like he's going to have to probably take a pay cut wherever he goes if he wants to keep playing because there just isn't like max cap room necessarily out there for him. And I would understand why that would be tough for him, not just because that's what he's made, but also because like he is worth more than that from a business
Oh
perspective.
my
Like
God,
if
so
you give
much
a
more.
team the LeBron farewell tour business wise is worth more than a max contract to the team, like
Yeah.
easily. And so I would understand if he's like, I don't want to give you a discount on like all this money that you're about to make off of me. But at the same time, like, it's like, how good of a farewell tour do you want it to be? Like, don't necessarily think about you. Are you thinking about, like what is your goal here? Like, is your goal to try and win on the way out? Is it just to do the farewell tour and, like go city to city and get your rocking chair gifts and, whatever? Is it to make sure that like Mark Walter isn't taking advantage of you? Like I don't know that all these things probably come into the equation, but I do think, like that, if we're just talking strictly basketball, of course the move is for him to take a pay cut because it frees up the Lakers to build a better team around him. But I also understand why he would say like, I don't really want to do you guys a favor because you sort of piss me off.
Just throwing this out there. as an option.
Most of the time, guys
LeBron,
don't take the pay cut for the incumbent team. They take the pay cut for the team they're leaving to prove the other team wrong.
well,
Like
yes and no.
play,
Well, because like Dirk took pay cuts there at the end of his career too,
well, but
and
that's different. He stayed there the whole time.
yeah.
Dirk and Tim Duncan are different to me because they stayed there the whole time. Like LeBron is, he's been here what 8 years. But he didn't spend his whole
39.
career with the Lakers. It's not like, oh man, I want to do right by you guys on the way out, and then you're going to give me this cushy, Dirk, I'm sure had his highly paid Mavs consultant gig after his career was over, probably.
Well, that's the thing that Mark Cuban kind of infamously now because of the whole Kawhi deal, but like Mark Cuban funded or bought some Dirk documentary, right? The Lakers. So like LeBron.
Hey, look, lots of people are buying documentaries to get the things they want these days.
Yeah.
It's the
I'm just saying
documentaries that no
like,
one's asking for.
yeah, and nobody shows up for after they've been made. Yeah. Yeah, one thing that I guess could happen, I guess, especially if Steve Ballmer gets a slap on the wrist for this aspiration stuff. Like I would, again, this is the world that we warned people that we would live in. If Ballmer gets a slap on the wrist, I'd be like, yeah, film that documentary. I'll buy it for whatever amount of money that just so happens to coincide with what you would have been making on a max contract, and let's just call it a day.
Yeah.
Not in so many words, but that's the world we would be moving into.
Mark Walter funds Space Jam 3 as a direct-to-DVD sequel. But it's 5 minutes long, and it's just LeBron going, "That's all, folks," and then like the movie ends, and they're like, "What was his salary for that?"
It's like that's all, folks. And AD's like, "Hi," and then it's just like
he paid him $200 million for that.
Bronny just out of nowhere, he starts getting mid-level money. Like,
yeah.
All right. So anyway, yeah, I guess we should figure out like who should start.
Like, wait, they gave Bronny the 1-year KCP contract after his contract expired,
and then you called him manna from heaven.
Yeah.
But Austin comes back, and at the very least, we know that we're going to be getting fewer Austin, LeBron, Luka, Rui minutes. Who do you think should be that fourth starter or fifth starter, depending on how you want to look at this? Ayton isn't going anywhere from the starting lineup. It doesn't look like, nor necessarily should he, even though I don't think he's been playing very well.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those things where like I think if JJ was allowed to, I think he would want to. But he also
I wonder if
that, like that is 100%. I can tell you with 100% confidence that is not the way to reach DeAndre Ayton. Like it
Yes.
I have never been more certain of anything in my life than that benching DeAndre Ayton is not going to make him play harder for you to get back into the lineup. That is going to make him quit on the season.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that
you know what I mean?
It's a solid read of that situation. DeAndre Ayton misses a game in Southern California because he's iced into his house. He's like, dude, what?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like and also like, what's the option? You're like, oh man, we got to start Jackson Hayes because it's like, come on, yeah. So it's I think like honestly, I think it's probably I think I'd still lean Marcus.
That's just where I wound up
lineup. Like I understand why they've been hesitant and they don't want to overplay Marcus and oversap him and whatever. But at some point, it's like, the season, you got to sink or swim. Like you are not guaranteed a playoff spot. Try and figure out your best lineups now. And if you have to have some wonky sort of end of quarter rotations because to keep Marcus's minutes a little bit more down, then just like do that. Don't start the game with a worse lineup and have to battle back every single night.
Yeah, no, that's I obviously the only two like logical choices. I know some people are gonna like say Vando should maybe get some mention here, but the only two choices to me that were logical were Laravia and Smart. And
Jake is just a little bigger than I want in that spot next to Austin and Luka and LeBron. Like he's just not the right type of defender for that lineup. Like I don't think It's not a terrible idea. I think it's a better idea than starting Rui, but I would rather start Smart just positionally.
Yeah. Well, we've seen Austin always look significantly better when there's a point of attack defender next to him.
Yeah.
Like
Austin's a chaser. That's what he does. Like, people call him a turnstile. People like make fun of his defense, whatever, but Austin can chase guys through screens.
Yeah.
Like, that is one defensive skill set that he 100% has.
Yeah. Well, and like if Austin is going to have any kind of creative responsibilities,
he shut down Clay in that playoff series against the Warriors a couple of years ago, and that was like younger Austin. Like, he's stronger than that now.
Yeah. But if Austin has any kind of creative responsibilities, asking him to do that and also be your point of attack defender is that's a lot. Like that is a lot to ask of.
Yeah.
Look around the league.
No one does that.
Nobody does that. Yeah.
Literally no one does that.
Prime and
Kawhi
so
is it. Like LeBron on nights when he was prime LeBron when like he was mad that Derrick Rose won MVP. Like that's the list.
Kobe,
LeBron and Kawhi. Like
it was like yeah. Like you're talking about a handful of players in the history of basketball. Whoever did that.
I love Austin. He's not those guys.
No, he would tell us. But so I would probably start Smart too. And then I'm honestly fascinated by a wing trio coming off of the bench of Jake, Rui, and Vando, and some of the lineup combinations that you could go to with those guys. And it's you have those guys staggered. Like imagine a lineup like the one that I kind of threw out there was Luka, Jake, Rui, Vando, and like Hayes, and or Timmy or something like that, or if it's Timmy, then maybe LeBron makes more sense for that kind of a group. But now that said, does that group benefit from having Marcus as a ball handler with the second unit? Maybe, I don't know. But I think when you have LeBron, Luka, and Austin all there healthy together, there's one or two of those guys are going to be on the court at all times. So I don't know how much more ball handling you need with your second unit, seeing as you're going to stagger those guys well enough. Like that was one thing that I thought JJ actually did really well before those guys started getting hurt. So yeah, I would say I'm with you that I would like to see it be Smart. I haven't asked about it. I haven't looked into who, and this is the kind of thing that the Lakers, like once I broke that, like they're going to bench D'Lo and start Vando and all the wings story. Like they've really, really, really clamped down on people from the organization talking about what their starting group was going to be. But yeah, we'll kind of see what the closest that I ever got was, reporting in the summer that Rui was going to start at the beginning of the season. And then I came to find out that it had a lot to do with the fact that LeBron was going to miss the beginning part of the season. Yeah. So of course Rui was going to start was essentially.
Yeah. There was really no argument not to start Rui at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I would probably say I would like to see it be Smart. I wouldn't hate LaRavia. I would hate if we saw Rui back in that starting lineup, I would be pretty upset. I don't think I would handle that very well.
Yeah, it's just stupid. Like we know it doesn't work. We know it's not the right call at this point. It's just like we have enough data to know that lineup, even if there will be nights where they outscore the opponent and the offense is just clicking on all cylinders and they look really good, like that is not a serious high level winning lineup. And so you should be trying to find as many of those as you possibly can. And I just you're just wasting everyone's time starting those five guys. We know that's not going to be the lineup in the playoffs. We know that's not going to be the lineup at any point that matters in a playoff game. Stop wasting everyone's time.
The other thing too is I want to see that group start the Austin, Luka, LeBron, Ayton, and Smart lineup start a game or a few games before the deadline so that you can decide, okay.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. Does my answer change with the deadline coming up? I think you got to give Gabe Vincent 35 minutes a night. It's
Don't say that out loud because JJ
Really,
might take
I
it
think you got to
seriously.
showcase Maxey. I like him as the starting five.
Yeah. Yeah, I would. They're both starting.
Yeah.
Hey, Austin and Jake. Sorry, guys, but we need to start those guys. Just for a theme.
Gabe pick and roll that just like it results in the defenders tripping over themselves laughing, and so it's like
Yeah.
a 1.8 points per play.
I always mean to look this up, but I would like to see what opposing players are shooting when Gabe is guarding them. There's that stat, like that
You
stat
don't
is
want to look
available.
that
It's
up.
somewhat flawed, but I feel like it's like 300%. Like they just every time they shoot three jumpers go in.
Yeah.
All right, so we agree on that front. Let's talk about DeAndre Hunter then. And so Brad Turner included him in his list of names to watch. I've talked about Hunter a ton on this show. I think
I was trying to
Wendy,
figure out trades for him earlier this year when there was like the, did he request a trade report or not?
what's that?
There was the whole like, did he demand a trade earlier this year? Like there was the report that he did, and then he came out and said he didn't. But like during that time, I was putting him in the trade machine. It's actually
Oh,
not
okay.
that easy to find a workable trade, and it's not really anything with the Lakers. It's just they don't have contracts that match up that well, and the Cavs are in the second apron, so they're like severely restricted on what they can do and what they can take in on trades. And so it's just like I sort of gave up on him as a target just because it felt like it was going to be too difficult for me, at least. Like the Lakers have cap people, so maybe they could figure this out, but it was beyond my capacity.
I'm looking at it now, and it's so Hunter makes 23.3 mil this year. And then so I'll go here to the Lakers. 23.3 in. You go Gabe's 11 and a half. You go Maxey's 11. That gets you to 22 and a half versus 23.3. And yeah, to your point, Harrison, what's really difficult here is the Cavs can't take back more money than they send out.
No,
And the
not
Lakers,
even by a penny.
yeah. And the Lakers can't, like, they don't have basically any margin for error in terms of how much money they can take in versus, like what they send out. So it does definitely complicate things. Like if you want to go, so because yeah, with Gabe and Maxey, maybe you do, but do you want to include a Do Theoro in a trade for?
And then at that point, aren't you more than Hunter is making? And that's a 3-for-1 trade in season with a second apron team.
So it says success on Fanspo. And in this case, the Lakers are sending out. No, they are. They're getting back. No, because the Lakers are sending out 23.7. No, that doesn't work either. Fanspo's broken.
Yeah,
So,
and the Cavs, as Laker Time 987 points out in the comments, the Cavs can't aggregate salaries right now either. Like it would require, like Cleveland would have to do like a salary dump to get under the second apron and then do that trade. And it's like, how much effort are they going to put into trading DeAndre Hunt? Like, I don't know.
I think it's always going to have to be a 3-team trade anyway, because
or 4.
the Cavs like aren't bad enough to where they can just like quit on this season. They've actually been a lot better lately too. And so that I don't think they as an organization have arrived at the place where like, all right, well, this is a lost season and they're going to just salary dump a role player / at sometimes starter for them in Hunter without getting back a player who they think can legit help right now. So maybe with it become and then like the problem is when you make it a 3-team trade, now all of a sudden you're trying to please 3 teams and abide everybody's cap situations with those 3 teams. It becomes very difficult. So
and it's more people that you need to agree on something that all have different goals and different ways of seeing the league.
Yeah, you have like this is an entirely different team that you hope gets along with Rob Pelinka. And There just aren't very
Only
many
like
people
2
like
of
that.
those. So,
And they both work for the Lakers.
yeah.
But yeah, I this said, like, cap machinations notwithstanding, what do you think about the idea of DeAndre Hunter?
I don't hate it, but I also I think I had sort of opted out of thinking a whole lot about it because of the restrictions and like how unrealistic it felt at this point. And so, I think he's a fine target. Like he would help with some of their needs if he is able to sort of like bounce back from he's had sort of a nightmare season. So, obviously it looked like he shot the ball pretty well last night, but it seems like all the Cavs did. So I don't know how meaningful or
Well, no,
that.
shooting practice is actually pretty effective for guys
Yeah.
looking like better shooters.
Yeah, he saw Gabe and he was like 8 for 15 time. It's DeAndre Hunter time, baby.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, but he would help with the team, some of the team's needs, and I think that's the type of guy that you should be targeting is the like a wing-ish player that you can get for not that much because we know that they're not going to like include firsts. And that their team is like looking to move on from that. You think like my whole thought process going into this deadline is, are there guys out there that you think Luka, maybe you factor Austin into this equation, but mostly Luka, that Luka can make 10 to 15% better over the next couple years, that maybe have some money their teams don't want, but that will be better next to Luka than they are, in their current situations. And so a guy like Hunter, I think, is an interesting target in that respect because he fulfills some needs for the Lakers. And, at least theoretically, maybe Luka gets him to shoot the ball a little better.
Yeah, that's honestly the reason I would like for the Lakers to target a center, because that's the player that gets the most better by way of Luka. Because the tough thing, and I think this is part of the reason why so many guys get to the Lakers and forget how to shoot, is because it's a different kind of shooting that you do when you get to, because before, as much as we've talked about heliocentric basketball with Luka, it was also heliocentric at times with LeBron, and then it was also at times heliocentric with Austin. And you have a lot of these like stationary shooters who occasionally relocate or occasionally catch a flare screen or something like that. But there isn't a whole bunch of time for players to get into a rhythm well enough to shoot. And that's where some guys kind of struggle.
I
And
also,
and yeah.
I was just going to say, like, I truly think the lighting in crypto is a factor
Oh yeah.
for guys.
Yeah. It's unique to the Lakers arena. But also like just in terms of like the basketball, because guys also don't shoot very well on the road either when they get to the Lakers.
Yeah.
And so like I just think, making your mid-season or your top mid-season acquisition and hoping that player becomes a shooter for you is difficult.
Yeah.
Like it's just and like that's why I'm of the opinion that I would actually target centers, especially if these reports of Ayton not being the center of the future, we know they're true. He's not the center of anybody's future. So like so so like if it's a with Ayton probably not being the Lakers center of the future, well then go get your center of the future. Go, and this has always been my stance is go start building like what roster you actually want to put together, because you see the teams that are vying for Giannis right now. The Lakers aren't in that conversation right now. They hope to get into that conversation this summer, but even then it's a long shot for them to be, I believe Pete is a lot more optimistic about the Giannis thing than I am. But I just think the Giannis thing is a total, kind of lottery ticket kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And like I would much rather see what kind of roster I can build using the assets that they have. You have expiring contracts at a time where so many teams are trying to get under various aprons or clear their books for the following season so that they can start the year under a certain apron, than they were, or an apron lower than they are right now at the beginning of next year. Like there's so many things that that I think the Lakers would be better like their time would be better served on than hoping that like okay, God. Shams Karani had just tweeted out Los Angeles Lakers center Jackson Hayes and San Antonio Spurs rookie Carter Bryant have accepted invitations. But I just saw him start
Shams tweet starting with Los Angeles Lakers center
Yeah.
Jackson Hayes was a little scary. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, huh.
Oh, what do you do now?
Oh man, I'm not touching that one. But yeah, I don't know. I know that the Lakers liked Messi back during the draft process, right? So when we found out that the Pelicans are interested or they're fielding offers for Messi, I showed some like that seems like a move for the future. He's young, he's athletic, he's plays with more force than DeAndre Ayton does. He's way smaller, but he plays with more force. Somebody like Daron Sharp
not a
as
high
well
bar,
from
but
Brooklyn.
yes.
Right, but that's all I mean is that like go out and the reason I do like the Hunter move potentially is that like he's in that window age range that Luka and Austin are in. He's more athletic than Rui is. Again, like because of the cap situation, I'm a little concerned about like the viability of trading for him. But yeah, it's just I'm just really kind of sick of just continuing to kick the can down the road. And this year it's Giannis. Next year it'll be Anthony Edwards if Minnesota doesn't get Giannis, and then the year after that it'll be so and so. And it's like, no, like can we actually build something? Can we actually get to working on building something rather than hoping to build something with extremely limited resources after getting superstar X, Y, or Z?
I don't know. I think Rob and Shea are going to bond over their love of leather jackets, and that's going to be like Rob's going to walk in just stunting to that meeting, and Shea's going to be like, "This is the GM I have been waiting for my entire career."
Yeah.
And
What's the word that like kids use when it like the face that he was making?
oh yeah,
Mogging?
he's going to mog on Shea,
They're just gonna sit there in the meetings, just mog at each other.
Yeah, he's going to look smacks on him. I think that's one of them.
I
Yeah,
can't
I
believe
think
we went from like being the young whippersnappers in this industry to asking each other what is it that the kids say.
no.
That's how
See,
long we've known each
I'm
other.
hip with the kids. The kids love me. They see my hairline. They're like one of us. And just like want to tell me all
people
their
in our comment section ask, "That's fake hair, right?"
yeah, it's fake. Yeah, it's fake hair. I was like, of all the styles they gave me, I was like, I want this. But going back to like the center thing and like finding, sort of trying to find your option there of the future, it actually reminds me of something that I used to say to the ladies, like when I had hair, and it was like, don't let Mr. Right now get in the way of you finding Mr. Right. Like, I don't care about DeAndre Ayton's feelings in that respect. If you can go get the lob set threat of the future, then, then you go get that guy. And if Ayton quits on the season, that's fine, because this is probably not going to be the season you win the title anyway. And, you just deal with that down the road. Keep trying to find guys that are going to be part of the next winning Lakers team, even if you can't build it this year. But Rob, we've seen over time, can't pat his head and rub his belly at the same time. So it's like, it's hard. Like if he's like, well, but
it's hard to do in leather. Like,
yeah.
Have you ever tried to lift your arm in leather? It's kind of tricky.
And it's just like, we're waiting on Giannis, so we can't do anything else in the meantime. Ignoring the fact that, like, if Giannis wants to get to LA, then the way that's going to happen is he's going to have to say, I want to get to LA, and really try and get here. And, at that point, you find the salaries and the contracts and you make it work anyway. Cap space is not like the king in that situation.
Yeah.
You don't need 2 max slots to add Giannis. You just need the one.
That's true. All right, let's wrap up with some questions here from the. I just can't get myself to like. In a season where you have prime Luka Doncic, Is DeAndre Ayton or DeAndre Hunter like the trade deadline acquisition that you'd be like, all right, let's go?
Well, Pete and I talked about this on the LFR pod last week, and like I think this season's for building for the future. This is not a season. They're not winning the title this year, barring like a miracle. And so at that point, I think you just see what you can do can you get guys that are going to be on the team when it is good again? They found Jake LaRavia, like that's theoretically a winning role player that can be a part of the future. Rui in certain permutations off the bench, like maybe that's a guy that can help you be a part of the next winning Lakers team, and so can you get more guys that you feel good saying, okay, Luka, Austin, and Eves Missy, that's going to be the center that sort of fills the Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively role for Luka. And this guy's going to be really good next to him as a lob threat. And this is sort of the perfect center we need. And then we can go fill in the rest of the roster later.
Yeah, like if you take in Hunter, you cut your salary cap in half, for your cap space next year in half. Now, I think that probably leaves you with enough room to make a viable offer for Watson and then sign guys using bird rights afterward. In this set of events, LeBron re-signing at a reasonable number becomes almost critical. Right.
I think if you acquire DeAndre Hunter for $25 million and you're like, LeBron, can you take like 10? I think that's a harder sell.
And then offer Peyton Watson 26 or whatever it would be.
You're like, no, but LeBron, like it's better for the team if you take the vet min.
Yeah. That would be difficult.
You want to change your jersey number for the farewell tour too? Just really set it apart, maybe up those sales.
But that said, like if he goes to Cleveland and like if he goes and takes less to play in Cleveland, and it's like, all right, LeBron, thank you for taking $7 million a year to play here. Don't mind us. That's one game check for Darius Garland.
Yeah,
that would be
yeah. I mean that's fair. I just. Yeah,
there's no world where like LeBron, like again, like we talked about earlier, there's just no world where LeBron sits salary wise in a spot where he would be comfortable while also playing in a city that he would want to play in.
Yeah. Unless he really wants to be in New York with the Nets.
Like really likes the LeBron, can you make as much money next year at $15.9 million as Max Strus? Like, are you interested in that to come here, LeBron? It would be a funny thing though. Like it would be really funny if we kind of got the reverse of what happened when the Lakers signed LeBron, where in this case, the Lakers are sending the expiring money that allows the Cavs to sign LeBron. That would be,
Kobe Altman calls Rob and he's like, hey, you want to pay that favor back?
Yeah, right. This is for making us employ Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah.
Although they did like Larry Nance, he's still there. He loves it there in Cleveland.
He's back. He came back.
Yeah.
But I mean, Cleveland is home for him.
It is. All right, let's wrap up with some of your questions. We have a start. Oh no, we don't have a start comment. Somebody joined the starred group. Welcome, Alicia. Thank you very much for hopping on. Let's go through here and see what questions that we have over the course of the show. Yep, she's right. Asks, what's up with the Great Western Forum podcast? It's been a minute. So it's just really difficult the further we get into a season to wrangle everybody's schedules together. Jovan has a crazy busy schedule. Pete has a crazy busy schedule. My schedule is ridiculous. It's just and then on top of that, we try to, open it up to make it a legitimate forum. And you're talking about beat writers who are traveling all throughout the year. It's just, it's a really complicated deal, but yeah, we're working on it. Jovan has some things going on that once those are all kind of cleared up, we're hoping to record another one of those episodes, but I appreciate the interest. Good afternoon, fellas. Who are the top 3 players getting moved on the Lakers? So like 3 likeliest players getting moved. I'd put Dalton pretty high. Personally. And then I would say like Maxey and Gabe.
See, I want to say Maxey and Gabe, but I actually don't I'm not yet certain that it's that likely that those guys get moved, because I think, again, like, they really want the cap space.
Yeah.
Like, they
What are
love
they
seeing
using the cap
expiring money
space
come
on
off the
though?
books
Like what are they using the cap? Like what's
to
this?
absorb Giannis's salary.
That can't. All right. We are entering the realm of like, maybe I should just call Pete. Hey Pete, do you want to come on the podcast really quick? Because this is the debate that we always have. He's of the opinion that just the salary relief will be enough for Milwaukee. And like salary relief and a few picks from the Lakers
It's
will
going to
be
have
enough.
to be picks too. It's not just going to
Yeah.
be salary relief. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but like, all right, 3 Lakers picks at a time where they're going to have Luka and Giannis and salary relief for the best player in franchise history since Kareem. And you could really make an argument that Giannis meant more to the Bucks than Kareem did. Like I guess it was Lou Alcindor at the time, but
certainly to their current generation of fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, well, and I think there are more Milwaukee Bucks fans now than there were back when Lou Alcindor was playing. But yeah, I like the what am I supposed to say that he's like, do you refer to him as Kareem or do you refer to him as Lou Alcindor back when he was a Buck?
I just usually go with what people want to be called.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think we'll just say that like then Kareem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the I don't know. I just I have a really difficult time
seeing the Bucks want to build around Dalton.
I just have a really difficult time seeing the Bucks be like, all right, everybody, we traded Giannis. All right, what do you have to show for him? Well, the Lakers like 2034 pick, 2031, and whoever we want to draft in this year's draft. And that's it. That's it. And our books are cleaner. Hello? Please come watch games.
Nobody's going to be happy about the return for Giannis when it happens. Like most likely, Bucks fans are not going to be happy regardless of when it happens. And the team is going to want to do right by him, even if he's, never demanding, asking for, requesting a trade. He's just going to be passive aggressive, I guess, for 2 years to get somewhere. But yeah, the only way he's getting into the Lakers is if he says he wants to go there. And then in that case, again, like, you make the contracts work. We've seen how many of these star trades have we seen where, teams figure it out. They go and they move the salary that they need to, they attach the picks that they need to, they include the young guys that they need to, and they get it done. The Lakers are not going to necessarily be able to outbid some of these other suitors in terms of assets, but can the tiebreaker be Giannis wants to go there? And they want to have the cap space to be able to make it. And can they make the argument, hey, if you're the Knicks and you're like, hey, you want Karl Anthony Towns? And the Bucks are like, no, and so, and his next you want to negotiate with Karl Anthony Towns on his next contract?
But how many stars that got moved recently got to pick their destination?
I mean, not many, but also not many of them have done, the amount that Giannis did for Milwaukee.
Dame mattered quite a bit to Portland.
Yeah.
Now, like the difference, I guess, is the number of years that were left on people's deals and stuff. But Toronto still took a swing on Kawhi. Now they lost them, but they were happy that they did.
Yeah.
And they might be even more happy that they did now that all the aspiration stuff has come to light. Yeah, I don't know. I always just keep coming back to, I don't see billionaires as a group of people that love being told what to do by their employers. And when a albeit 100 millionaire, walks into their office and is like, hey, send me to market X, Y, or Z. I just don't see that as an entire class of people. Like very, very interested in otherwise, like somebody might have been able to convince a billionaire to like wipe out credit card debt or something stupid, actually help the world with their money.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and that is also why, for as much as I'm like making the devil's advocate case, my plan A would not be free up as much money as possible and hope Giannis forces his way here, unless you know that he's going to do that, which maybe they do. I don't know. But other, that doesn't seem to be the reporting right now around it. And so I would not be staking my entire future on like, hopefully Giannis wants to be here this summer, and let's just like completely punt a transaction window during Luka's time when we could maybe add to the team. But I don't know that they're thinking that way. Like that, I think that I genuinely think that they're thinking, why would we take back long-term money for Maxey and Gabe when we can have those guys expire this summer, and then we can tell Giannis, look, we have you plus another max slot to pick a teammate, pick some role players you want us to add.
Do they?
I don't know. I don't know if it's exactly that. Maybe they probably have to lose Austin too.
Yeah, I mean, like at that point, you're losing everybody. It's Luka, Giannis.
I don't know if it's quite 2 maxes, but they have a lot. They have more than a max.
Yeah,
it is their maximum level of cap space. And maybe part of the transaction is like, Austin, how do you feel about Milwaukee? They could pay you the max.
I think Austin would probably be okay getting the max anywhere that he can get it. So
probably so. And so is that part of the Lakers calculus? I don't know, but it is that part. They're like, yeah, we don't have like a young core of guys that we can trade as prospects, but we can facilitate you getting an Austin Reaves who, you can sell to your fans as a younger up and coming guy. You'll sell a lot of jerseys probably. And, maybe you can have like sort of a fun, like spunky team around him and Miles Turner. And like, it's sort of your version of, like the Raptors after Kawhi left year, where like, you're probably not quite that good, but it's like, you're still competitive. You're still a fun team. City can rally around it. Fan base can rally around it. We're still fighting, and we have picks coming in the future.
Well, the other part of it too
for that to be clear, but maybe that's part of it.
The other complicating factor for Milwaukee is that they've done so much to appease Giannis that I don't even know how many of their own picks they control. So is there even any point in bottoming out? Like
right now, no, but that's why people keep connecting the Blazers and the Hawks to them, because that's who has their picks. And so
the Blazers and the Hawks are like, what am I doing? Why would I?
Austin, how do you feel about Atlanta?
It's
Austin.
tricky.
Do you like artisanal coffee shops? Portland may be the city for you.
My read of the Giannis situation is essentially that, like, I think Milwaukee can pretty confidently say, no matter what offers are out there right now, they aren't going away. By the time
I don't think he's going to move before the deadline. This to me feels like your classic Shams, like trying to get people interested in ESPN's trade deadline coverage.
Yeah, and it's just like, and it's a shitty trade deadline.
Yeah, like I believe that the Bucks are listening to offers. I'm not saying that the reports are false. I just don't think that is going to lead to them making a deal right now, when it's so much easier to make a deal in the summer and have a wider market.
Yeah, I don't.
I just say what you will about the Lakers offer, but it's going to be better this summer. The Lakers can make a better offer this summer.
Yeah.
Other teams can make a better offer this summer. So why would
nobody's offer gets worse this summer?
Yeah.
Like even the current offers that are out there, it's not like the Knicks are going to be like, if you don't take this offer of OG Anunoby and Karl Anthony Towns so that we can bring back Jrue Holiday and Giannis Antetokounmpo, like the Bucks are going to be like, okay, those guys are still there to be moved next year. Jrue Holiday has
hire
a
Mike
contract
Brown
that
and hire
ends
Bud. Get the band back together. Chris Middleton on a buyout.
Yeah, I mean, he is going to get bought out. Like that's a thing that's probably going to happen. But all right. Let's see if we have any more or questions here. Average DadX. If you start Marcus and he misses a game, who takes his place? Harrison does. You guys have that to look forward to.
It's Bronny, as I call him, Little Marcus.
Somebody was really angry at us for our LeBron analysis.
Yeah,
So
they were not even though I believe I did specify probably at least in the last 30 years, LeBron's 41. I don't think
yeah,
from the time when he was 11, LeBron was already a pretty high level basketball prospect. Like, I'm not saying he had everything handed to him. He earned it and all that stuff, but
yeah,
he's not someone used to not being wanted around
yeah.
over the
This is
more of his life than not.
John Lindsay does make a good point. Giannis gets more leverage in the summer because it would be like a fewer time that he would have with his current, the team that trades for him by half a season, right? But even there, he's banged up right now, so he might not even play again until March.
That's the other thing where Giannis keeps being out for the playoffs and nobody talks about it. He just keeps
I
not
talk
playing in the
about it.
playoffs. And
Yeah.
it's I don't that's not, he's great. Obviously, I'm not saying Giannis isn't good, but I don't want to just say hey, you have Luka, Giannis, and scrubs, and you're going to figure it out.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody.
Rob is still GMing like it's 2016. It's not stars and scrubs anymore. You need depth. Every single good team has depth.
I'll tell you a Rob story off the air that is a good one. Then I'm trying to get cleared. But I was talking to somebody yesterday who I said, I honestly, I would prefer Giannis going to a different team. And specifically in the East, right? I would prefer that he gets traded to Miami, or I would prefer that he gets traded to New York. And I would rather have one of the Knicks wings on the contract that they make, given the amount that you would have to give up to get those guys. I would rather give up what I would have to give up to get McDaniels from Minnesota if he is, sent in a deal and then gets repackaged elsewhere. I would rather make that kind of move and have a more balanced roster from that point forward than I would give up everything that you don't have nailed to the floor for a 32-year-old Giannis who's going to be expecting an extension at 34.
Who is not healthy. Who is never healthy when it has mattered over the last several years.
The Lakers traded Anthony Davis away because they didn't want to face that extension after his year 34 season. And now you're signing up for that with Giannis.
Giannis is better.
He is, absolutely. But it's also he's if we're going to talk about how often Anthony Davis is banged up, every single time Anthony Davis gets a hangnail, I see Anthony Davis stuff. We never see this with Giannis. I can't trust that he's going to finish the season with my team,
And so it's honestly, it's sort of he's obviously very different players here, but it's sort of like the Marcus Smart, Alex Caruso thing, where if you play that physical all the time, are you putting yourself at increased risk for injury? And he is every single possession barreling into the lane, has lots of opportunities to step on other guys' feet, lots of opportunities to get knocked out of the air. There's just you're just signing up for, say what you will about Luka has had soft tissue injuries, obviously, Jokic is hurt right now, but has historically been fairly durable. But those guys have been a little more durable because they're not playing the style of play where they're constantly putting themselves at risk of being hurt.
Jokic is only hurt right now because his teammate whipped their leg into him.
Yeah.
That was not Giannis got hurt, just stepping. And that makes me really, really nervous about and relies a lot more heavily on his athleticism than Jokic does moving forward. Jokic can shoot. Giannis never developed the ability to shoot. And then also over the last couple of years, Giannis, all the talk that I kept on saying out of Milwaukee has been Giannis wants to be the point forward. Giannis wants the ball more in his hands, all this stuff. You know what makes that difficult? This Luka guy that you just acquired. That's going to work. That's going to fit. I don't know that it will. So to me, I would rather go out. I know that there's questions about the Luka Austin backcourt. That's going to be a hell of a lot cheaper and gives you a lot more firepower to go out and get guys that supplement the questions that face those two guys as a backcourt.
And on Austin's next deal, there are probably teams that will trade for him. I struggle to imagine that Giannis's extension, whatever number that is, like when he's 35, 36, that's a movable deal.
Yeah, look at what Dallas is facing with AD right now. And again, Giannis is a significantly better player.
Yeah,
like
Giannis is great. This
lot
feels like
better,
we're
yeah.
like crapping all over Giannis. He's great, but I just I question the fit with on a Luka team.
Yeah.
If we were talking about, hey, Austin's your only asset in the cupboard moving forward, and LeBron's probably leaving this summer, and you didn't make the Luka trade, then it's like, hell yeah, go trade for go get Giannis.
Right.
But unless you're then flipping around and you're like, hey, who wants to bid on Luka? We're doing what Nico couldn't. We're having an open marketplace. Then I don't think those two are that good of a fit.
There would have to be significant compromise from both of those guys that we definitely haven't seen from Giannis. Like, that's why it didn't work
Luka,
with him and Dame.
really. I mean,
Yeah. All right. This question: how is LaRavia a winning role player if he hasn't won shit? He makes $6 million.
Honestly, John is cooking. Everybody's a loser until they win a title. That's the new standard that we're holding everyone.
It'd be really funny if like John Severino was like Cam Reddish's burner account.
Hey, Cam Reddish, he's overseas right now. He's going to get it together.
He's actually back in the G League. He was this close to playing for the Austin Spurs. I was going to be able to go watch Cam Reddish play from time to time.
Oh, see greatness in person.
I would be a little nervous that he would recognize me.
Honestly, whatever he did, you deserve it. Like, you were very mean to Cam Reddish. Like, I would understand if he took it personally.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's not. He got traded. Like, I think the Spurs got his rights and then immediately some team traded for him. The Clippers, I think, traded for him.
They got a text from him saying, so how far of a drive is it to this address? And it was yours, and a picture of you with a target on it.
And then you'd find out it's like 5 minutes away from the facility.
It's like, oh, I can fight Anthony on my way home.
All right, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Harrison, thank you very much for hopping on. Anything that you want to plug before we get you out of here?
No, just check out SB Nation, Silver Screen and Roll, all that good stuff for all your trade deadline needs. As the Lakers, probably don't do anything, but maybe they will. I don't know.
I think it's going to be quieter than fans want it to be.
Yeah, I think Dalton gets moved.
Although, aren't all trade deadlines quieter than fans want them to be?
Not last
except for
deadline.
Maybe the Luka one.
Even then, they're like, you couldn't get the deal for Mark Williams over the finish line, Rob, you fraud.
Did you have to give up Max Christie? Was it
this guy at Disneyland again?
All right. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye, everyone.